Baltimore Orioles here in July. The sky's not falling, fam. The sky's not falling. It looked bad at some points this month. There's no other way to slice it. A lot of changes happened. We're going to go over that. But let's just go over the month that was. So today was the last day of the month. 65-44 is the record. They've actually won. They're at 6 out of 10. And they're first in the AL East. They are, I believe, second in the entire AL. Okay, they're a game behind Cleveland. I think they're 2 back in the loss column, I think, with the same amount of wins. So that is what's going on there. Gunnar, second in the MLB, I think now, the second on the team now in home runs. There in home runs. Not a great month for Gunnar by his standards, but Gunnar's still outstanding. I like the fact that they dropped him in the order. I think you're just leaving RBIs on the table in the first spot. Adley, biggest struggle, I think, of his career as a hitter. I don't think there's any question about it. He has been struggling, I think, as much as I've ever seen him at the major league level. His average has dropped to, I believe, 260-ish something. So that's about as low as I've ever seen him. He actually didn't DH today. I think that's probably a good idea now for a little while. If he's not catching, just take him out, especially now with Jimenez and these guys on the roster. Just go ahead and sit him, let him get some rest. Maybe he's a little fatigued. He played a lot last year for a catcher. I could say this. He only missed like 8 games the whole way. So that was a lot. Anthony Santander is now taking over the team lead in home runs and RBIs. Price of the bricks going up. The Marlowe reference to at the wire. It's going to be a tough time keeping him. 31 home runs for Santander. Ryan O'Hearn, fantastic as 2 strikes with a hitter. It seemed like he played less as well. I think they probably played less against the lefty, so as well. O'Hearn struggled a bit last month, but I really did like O'Hearn. Talk of moving Mountcastle, he's still on the roster. I think moving the fences back has hurt him more than anyone else. I think he's still hitting. The last couple games, he's had like 2 RBIs again in the game earlier today. He had 2 RBIs, he had 4 in the game over the weekend. So I think he's a good as a hitter. I think moving a fence back really took his power away. I think Kowser's a legitimate Rookie of the Year candidate, no question about it as well. I think Jordan Westburg is very underrated. Very underrated. One of the most underrated players in the league. I think not a great month like him. Kind of put him in a Gunnar category. Kind of meh for the month, but I'm not too worried about Westburg. Good at second and third. One thing, Mount Kowser. I don't know where the Kowser dislike is coming in. He's terrific. The average is the only thing. Got to get more consistent with the batting average, but that's it. Cedric finally kind of is what he is at this point. I think he's hitting like 220, helping at the plate some things. Tell you what, his center field is still fabulous. He's getting catches all the time, just taking ways in one. Yamona Reyes, I don't know why he even has a roster spot with Mateo on the shelf. I definitely think you're going to see more as we talk later about who came up. For the month, Corbin Burns, I think, might be the best pitcher in the American League. Every time he goes out in quality start, you think it was bad. If you didn't have Corbin Burns, it would have been much worse. He was fantastic every time he goes out. Grayson almost as good. Gives up a few more runs, so his ERA is higher, but he's very effective. When he's good, he's good. He's not, I wouldn't call him bad outings, but not quite as good at times. Dean Kramer has still kind of find his way. I think he was decent enough his last start, but we like to see a little bit more from Dean. Zach Eflin is back. Only the 1 start. I got no problem with this with Eflin. I think some people didn't like it, man. My man, Pigtown Sports was, well, I don't know. I'm not going to say my man, I know, but he was just kind of killing this. It's like, man, like, well, not a bad guy to get. Like, somebody won 16 games last year, put him on a better team. So Eflin's going to be, and Eflin you're going to have him next year too. So it's good under team control. Suarez, we're all sweating with him. He's been good, but we know this is a bit of a mirage. Not bad, but he's had some outings now that have kind of left us shaking our heads. Kimbrel, I'm not sure if he's the closer. He got used a little early, high leverage. I think they're going to spread it around. He just has stretches where he's not good. That's just no other way to slice that. As good as he overall is. Yadier Cano, kind of the same. Not as good as he was last year, but probably been your best reliever this year. Jacob Webb, also to a lot of people clamoring for him to be the ninth inning guy. To me, he doesn't look like a ninth inning guy as good as he's been. I just don't see it. I think Kyle Perez is on that look, has the more of the look of that, but he's just been less consistent. There are some outings he can't get bombed at some nights. He just doesn't have it. His velocity isn't right. Keegan Aiken, I think Hyde likes him. I think that's why we keep seeing him. Not bad. I think that's kind of what I see with him. Birch Smith, pretty good as well. Not too bad. I'm still not one way or the other with him. Since Angel Dominguez just coming over in the trade from Philadelphia, so somebody as well. So a couple Philadelphia guys now in the bullpen. I kind of put him in the courage category. He's going to look really good at times. Throws really hard, but he's going to look really good at times throwing hard. They needed help in the bullpen, and we'll go over all those trades in the Orioles report. So there you go. Orioles report. We'll go ahead and get to that as well after we talk about the Blue Crabs. lost my train of thought there. The Blue. Put me in cold. I'm ready to play. The Southern Maryland, Southern Maryland. I think I put South Maryland on a graphic. Blue Crabs. How about it? Nothing wrong with crabs as Marylanders. As somebody who grew up in Baltimore. This beer and crabs, and that's what we do. That's absolutely right. So love the name Blue Crabs. This is an independent league team as well. So they were actually victorious today against the team we talked about last week, the Hagerstown Flying Boxcars. They are in the same independent league as well, the Atlantic League. So what this is I think this is all very impressive. These are independently funded teams that actually play baseball out there without any help from major leagues or anything like that. They go out, sell tickets. This is the way it is. This is the purest form of baseball here as well. The Southern Maryland Blue Crabs in the independent league. So this is, I think, a better team than the Boxcars. The Boxcars just kind of started. They have a lot of players that are older. There's some here that are older, but they had a lot of players in the 30s. So this is actually a better, more competitive team, I think, that they have. Record as of a couple of days ago was 38-44. Stan Kilborn, I think he just had his 2000th win as a manager. So shout out to him. Kilborn actually going ahead and getting that. Courtney Kitchell, she is actually the GM, one of the few GMs, I think, as far as a female there as well. So shout out to her. Daryl Thompson is one of the pitchers. He's a player coach. Shout out to him. So he's the pitching coach, and I think he's got the most innings on the team at the age of 38. Josh Brockington, I think, kind of missed the best players list as well. Played briefly, most recently in the Royals organization. I think even early this year, I think he was with the Royals. So definitely for him. And Matt Hibbert, he's the oldest guy they have that's not a coach, 35 years old, been pro since 2011. All right. So I think this group probably has guys, I think, that have a more of a shot. Again, very long shot that you go back to the majors here. But I think this group of guys has a much better shot. This is a much better group. These are some guys that definitely, I certainly see more of these guys getting picked up by a minor league organization, by a major league organization, and being sent to the minors. I absolutely see that there. Michael Wisniewski, hopefully I'm saying that right. 7 home runs, 46 RBIs, 308. Probably your best, the best thing I saw as far as players. Probably as good as anything that they have there. Miles Williams is 31 years old. Was one of the biggest power hitters, 13 home runs, 35 RBIs, 260. Anthony Brocato, love the name, 16 home runs, 55 RBIs. I'm actually surprised. Actually, the little bit I have seen of him, I'm actually surprised. He's actually in an independent league. He really looks good. from what I've seen. Good in the outfield and everything as well. So I'm actually a little bit surprised he's here at this level. And no surprise, he's doing well with the Blue Crabs. Aaron Hill as well. Got to get that average up to 18, but 26 stolen bases, 11 home runs, 42 guys. So he's doing a lot for them. And their closer, Andres Bracino, that is 27 years old, throws very hard. Definitely has some control issues, I think, as far as for major league level, but definitely throws very, very hard. Blue Crabs, I think, also too, in Waldorf, Regency Stadium. It's not as cool, I think, as Meredith Park, but I definitely liked it. I mean, actually seeing the stadium there as well. This is a more established franchise, won more games. So definitely shout out to the Blue Crabs here. I think this is a team that actually with a shot to win the Atlantic Division there, the Atlantic League as well. So shout out to them actually getting that there as well. Next week, we're going to talk about the Frederick Keys. But I really think this is the heart of baseball here. When you have a squad like this here, the Blue Crabs, when they're actually, because they actually have to put all their money together and do it, right? They're not being subsidized or anything. They got to get out there. They got to sell tickets. They got to, these guys are playing for basically the love of the game. So definitely, if you are in Waldorf, definitely, I'll be honest, I didn't know a lot about it up until like last year, really researching this for the and everything like that. So definitely check them out. If you definitely like baseball, definitely go check out Waldorf and go out to see a Blue Crabs game. Southern Blue Crabs. All right. There's a lot to get to with the Orioles report. So I'm going to go ahead and get to it. Lost 2 of 3 to the San Diego Padres as well. Did win the finale. Won 3 of 4 against the Blue Jays. Padres again. I don't know what to make of them. I didn't like seeing Manny hit a home run again. So that wasn't a very good. But otherwise, I thought it was. I mean, this is a good team. I think they have good players. They don't always play well, but we will see how that goes. The Blue Jays are terrible. Their pitching has been bad, considering they have some decent starters. They did get rid of Kikuchi the other day. They didn't sell off everything, which I think was kind of the right thing, I would think. But interesting to see how it goes for them going the rest of the year. Who's hot? Mountcastle. I thought Mountie was good. I think the power numbers are kind of frustrating for him, for everyone. But Mountie's like, if you have, I mean, he had 2 more RBIs again today. I thought he was great in the game. Glad to see a few more home runs, obviously, but he's good. Glad to see that he's going to stick around here as well. Westberg, I think, is picking it back up. I thought he's outstanding. He's good defensively. He's had some defensive lapses here lately. So usually it's not Westy, though. Westy's been really good. And Corbin Burns, you could put him in there every week. I think you think you're complaining. How bad would this team win without Corbin Burns? Giving you a quality start every single start. Plus, he's like doing it with a minimum of pitches. Every time Burns pitches, you're getting the bullpen arrest on top of that. So definitely shout out to him. Adley, biggest slump I've ever seen him in. Not making great contact right now. I think maybe he's a bit tired. Give him some rest. Urias, I'm having him on here anyway. He did hit a homer yesterday. Somebody actually put out there, well, who wants to Urias DFA now? Me. Like, there's no place for him on the team. I mean, no disrespect. I mean, I think he can play on a different team, but the role he's in just doesn't suit him. He's not a guy who can come off the bench and produce and all that. You know, if he plays more, but it just doesn't make sense to me that. But I have no problem with him personally, but yeah, I can't understand why they're trying so hard to keep Urias on the team. Craig Kimbrell, I thought he was better today, but I think he's just kind of struggled lately. Again, they've kind of taken him out of the closer role as well. I think probably at the end of the year he'll be back in there, but for now, looks like they've definitely taken him out. Jorge Mateo was placed on the 10-day DL. That's even changed. He's now on the 60-day DL. Connor Norby came up last week to take his place. All right, that's old news. Also optioned right-hander to Norfolk after the game the other night and recalled Brian Baker. That's also old news, but that also happened during the course of the week. A lot happened. Jonathan Heasley has been released. He hasn't pitched lately due to further information. Forgot he was even in the minors, but he was injured. I could see them bringing him back during spring training, giving another shot. Get to the trades. We talked about this during our trade video yesterday. Orioles acquiring Trevor Rogers from the Marlins. Marlins will receive Connor Norby, who's now with the Marlins, and they also get outfielder Kyle Stowers. Felt good for Stowers getting away. Orioles didn't want him, no matter how well he played. Good for him that he gets to go to Miami and play. Connor Norby also, too, I would think he's going to start at second base for them in Miami. So good for him. Phillies and Orioles completed a trade that saw Santiago Dominguez in exchange for Christian Pache for Austin Hayes. They wanted the reliever Dominguez. They have help in the bullpen. We just talked about Kimbrel and his struggles, and they wanted that. Pache is a similar guy to Mateo. Mateo is going to be on the shelf now probably the rest of the year, at least until September. They move him off the 10-day to the 60-day DL. So we will see with that. But Pache can kind of run the bases, and Hayes gets a chance to play more. Again, they were kind of yanking him in out. I think it's a good chance for him in Philly. Orioles have acquired Zach Eflin for cash considerations, going to the Rays, Matt Etzel, Jackson Burmester, and utility player Mac Horvath as well. So that's interesting there that they get those guys. Etzel, I think, I definitely like Etzel, but these guys were several years away. Eflin, I think you're going to have him under team control. Excellent move, I think it was, for them. Sending you 25 utility player Billy Cook in exchange for right-hander Patrick Kelly. Cook had some fans, though some people liked him, kind of like he was in Double-A for a while, so we'll see. Good for him. They wanted a pitcher for sure. Orioles also DFA'd Cole Irvin, and Blake Hunt has been recalled. That's old news again, because he was sent up to replace McCann, sent down. McCann actually is playing with a broken nose. That's crazy. I thought for sure he'd be on the show. Irvin, I think, is as good as he was early in the year. This really surprised me that this went south so quickly for him. Just never really got back. He had a great start as well early in the year, but it really just went south for him. And now he's not here. He'll definitely land with another team. I don't think there's any question about it. He's not going to take any minor league assignment. Some major league team's going to grab him up. Gregory Soto is with the Orioles now. Pitching prospect Seth Johnson's Moises changed out to Philly. I think I kind of soured on Johnson as a prospect. He's like 25. He still was kind of stuck in Double-A. Had the Tommy John. I definitely think the Orioles kind of saw that. And again, still needing help in that bullpen. So definitely they got rid of Irvin. They weren't happy with some things. You're getting a guy. Soto hasn't been great lately for the Phillies, which is why they got rid of him. But we will see there. Austin Slater sent to the and Levon Soto sent to cash considerations for the Reds. So basically gave them some money. Guy they feel has a potential. They went ahead, a couple guys they feel had potential picking him up. Orioles finished up a trade that finished up a trade that sent Eloy Jimenez to Baltimore. Tim McGraw is the guy that got back to the White Sox. That's a very low prospect. Like when you're talking about that. So he wasn't even a top 50 Orioles prospect. I don't understand this in particular. Why would they want Jimenez? I actually kind of like him as a hitter, but I don't know when he plays. Why would you want another DH guy who really doesn't play the field, doesn't really play the outfield? I kind of don't understand why you would. They didn't give up anything, so I think that's one reason why they did it. But I don't know where you play them, so I'm kind of not understanding that. This week, big matchup here. The Cleveland Guardians, we just mentioned, they are the best. They have the best record in the American League. So this will be the Orioles' best record in the American League going against that. And again, against the Toronto Blue Jays here this week. Huge game for them. And Colton Cowser is your player of the week. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.